Hey guys, M.V.K here. Coming to for I guess you could say a Patreon exclusive Q&A. I do Q&As for Patreon, special focus Q&As on Patreon. That's free for everybody. So if you don't have to be a paid member. You could be a free member, and this is my way of giving to free members. I got more free stuff for free members coming as well, not just for paid members. So this is my way of thanking people. So uh, the newest Spotlight Q&A was about the Children of the Atom, X-Men. X-Men is running wild right now, so I thought, hey, let's do something for the X-Men. As you all know, when I do these Spotlight Q&As, you get 3 questions for each. Everybody can ask 3 questions, and I did that. So I had uploaded this. I had posted this on the Patreon March 30th, and I usually give these things 2 weeks, 2 weeks or a week or so, and see how many. So out of the amount of people that have that asked the questions, so there are 9 questions, so basically I got 27 questions for the people that I post. Like I said before, guys, this is not paid. This is free so you can join the Patreon and be a free member, and you'll still get some stuff there too. But let's do this. Here we go. So we'll start it off with Cyborg. He had asked, who's my favorite X-Men couple? My favorite X-Men couple. I That's a tough one, but one of them definitely was Colossus and Kitty Pryde. I loved their relationship, and it really pissed me off that she didn't marry him. She pretty much left him at the whole. I hated that. I was stupid. I will hate that. Of course, Gambit and Rogue. I love that they're married now. They've been married for a couple of years now, so I love that. So yeah, there's people. Of course, Jean and I don't have to go with them, but yeah, that's them. You asked my favorite villain who are humans. I don't really have a lot of human X-Men favorite villains. I could care less about them really. You say your Boulevard Trash and all them. You know, Bastion, who is a human hybrid. So yeah, I care more about the villains that are like Sinister. That's my favorite X-Men villain. Favorite New Mutant member. It's between Danny Moonstar, Mirage, when she was called that, and it's actually between 3: Danny Moonstar, Sam Guthrie, Cannonball, or Roberto Della Cosca. Pretty much, those are like the 3 that I really enjoy the most. I love Wolfsbane. Don't get me wrong. I love Ronnie. I do like Ileana, but if you'd ask me, yeah, it's a tie between those 3: Cannonball, Sunspot, and Danny. And most Danny, she mostly don't even use her powers because she lost it. But I think they gave it back to her. I can't remember. But she's a badass without them. So thank you for those. Number 3, Comic Guy J990 actually. Whose run on X-Men you're not a big fan of? It's Matt Fraction's X-Men run. I wasn't a big fan of. Another one definitely is Brian Michael Bendis. Not a big fan of his run of X-Men. Those are definitely 2. Your second favorite young X-Men. One of my favorite young X-Men definitely is Surge. Love her, and I'm glad to see that she's gonna get some spotlight in the new X-Force series. So yes. Best animated Rogue. Oh, that's easy. Current Rogue, the original. She's the best. She's the best. She is, that Rogue again. I know people will say, "Oh well, the Rogue from Evolution was great." You know, I didn't mind that she kind of looked more gothic and things like that. That's okay. But no matter what you say about any of the characters, about any X-Men, the original run gave those characters a voice that still to this day we still hear when read. Let me ask yourself, when you're reading Wolverine in the comics, who do you hear? Do you hear Scott McNeil from X-Men Evolution, or do you hear Cal Dot? When you hear Rogue, do you hear the Rogue from the original saying goodnight, sugar, and all that, or do you hear from X-Men Evolution? If you say the latter, you're lying to yourself. You're lying. So yeah, Rogue, that's the best Rogue. So thank you for that comment, guy. Duke Lawton asks, what DC heroes would be considered mutants if they were in Marvel? Black Canary. Black Canary, the Pierce family, Black Lightning and his daughters, definitely they would be considered mutants. And I'll give you one more. So that was 4 right there. Maybe Beast Boy, I would say. So yeah. Are there any Australian mutant members of the X-Men? Well, technically, Bishop was born in Australia. So technically he is Australian. People. Yeah, he's black, but there are blacks in Australia. There's Gateway. There's people like that. He was an Aboriginal mutant, hence his name. And of course, well, he's never been on the X-Men, but he was on Sword, and he was an Avenger, Manifold. So yeah. Next up, your next question is favorite black X-Men member outside of Storm. I would say Bishop. Bishop's there. I'm gonna put Roberto Da Costa. Yeah, don't come at me and say that he's not, because he is. He's Afro-Brazilian, and I'll definitely say Cecilia Reyes. She is half black too, so don't come at me and say that she's not. So yeah, those are a couple. Those are like 3. So thank you for that, Duke. Blue Guardian asks top 3 favorite X-Men villains. There we go. All right, here we go. My top 3: Mr. Sinister, number 1. Number 2 would be number 2 is Magneto, but they want to switch him time to time. And number 3 is Apocalypse. There you go. Those are my top 3. What villains do you want to see live action in X-Men in an MCU X-Men film? Mr. Sinister all day. 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 I don't care what Fox prostituted Magneto. Everything was about Magneto. And they didn't even do a that good of a job with Mystique. They really gave her a character. Sucked. But it is time to bring out some of the other guns. They're Sinister. They failed with the Hellfire Club. They failed with I'm just saying. They failed with all that stuff. Sinister, I want to see Sinister. And yeah, we could throw Mojo in there. I would love to see Mojo, because he would scare the living shit out of people. I would love that. Just see him come on screen and just scare some people. So yeah, there's more. Let me go back to the human. Arcade. I'll throw Arcade in there, because Arcade is human. So go back to Cyborg. I do like Arcade. Arcade is an X-Men villain, and he's human. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, there is one. Where was I? Oh, Blue Guard. Okay. What villain? Oh no, I did that one. Did you watch Legion? No, I didn't care for it. I didn't care for that series. I've never been a big fan of Legion. I'm not that big a fan of a lot of Charles Xavier's kids, and I'm not a big fan of Legion at all. So, sorry. Uh, Next up, Solomon the Hooded was good. So, uh, what what would Wolverine be like if he never got metal claws? Uh, if he never had the metal claws, he would still have the bone claws. He'd still be a badass, even still without. He still have the heightened senses, the healing factor. His healing factor would probably be still as godlike as it is now, because remember, his healing factor is always an overload because it's keeping the adamantium poison from him. So yeah, he'd still be a badass even, but his bones are hard as it is. It's harder than his bones are harder than um, people think they are. It's not just bone. There are certain people that can break them, but yeah, it was like when we saw in the Wolverine movie, his claws should not have broken that easily like we saw. But yeah, he would still be a badass even still. Um, if you could write an X-Men book, what would you call it? If I could write an X-Men book, I don't think I would use Uncanny. That's been done. Astonishing's been done. Um, I would probably call it the uh, what would I call it? The Unyielding X-Men. There you go. The Unyielding X-Men. Because the X-Men really don't quit. They always rise back up. Unyielding. They never yield. Unyielding X-Men. And your next question: favorite X-Men movie under Fox? Days of Future Past. That is my favorite. Out of the all the X-Men movies under Fox, Days of Future Past. That's it. Comic Freak X. Who are your favorite Team X-Men leaders? Gotta give. I will always give Cyclops credit. He is a good leader. Storm is great. Rogue has come around to being a pretty damn good leader, and give it to Bishop and Nightcrawler. They've led their teams too. They're pretty good, definitely. Favorite teleporter. Uh, it's Nightcrawler and Blink. They're I love that they could. Vanisher's good too, but and of course Manifold is great too. He can probably teleport the farthest. This man teleported the entire 25 team roster of Avengers when he was on the Avengers all the way to Mars. He did that no problem. Um, I no, because I don't look at Cloak and Dagger as mutants. I know they were on an X-Men team, but they're not mutants. They're human mutates. They're not mutants. I don't look at them as mutants. But Cloak has teleported hundreds of people. But no, I don't look at that. But those are my favorite, my two favorite, my three favorites. Nightcrawler, of course, the OG. Yes, he can only port so far, but even though he's limited, he still is great. And let's see. What did you think of Warren Worthington, Archangel, and Psylocke's relationship? I actually liked that relationship. That was interesting too. That was a really good, interesting relationship between Warren and Psylocke. This was done like early '90s. Early '90s. Then they rekindled maybe early 2000s and a couple of times. But yeah, it was cool. They were also part of the team when they were part of Uncanny X-Force and stuff like that. So yeah, I did like that. Son of Light VX asks, who would you get to write a X-Men Ninja Turtles crossover? Ooh, somebody that knows the Turtles and X-Men very well, that would do justice. Uh, Probably Jason Aaron's. I think he could do it. I don't think Jason Aaron's has written the X-Men, but I think he could do it. Yeah, I think he could. Next, are you excited for the new era of X-Men comics? Yes, I am. Definitely. Out of all of them, so far they showed us the lineup for Uncanny X-Men, the X-Men book, and Exceptional X-Men. Jean Grey is getting her own book, which is just Phoenix, and they just announced the X-Force team that's going to be written by led by Forge. Out of all those books, it's Gail that I'm because Gail hasn't written anything in a while, and reading some of these articles, she quietly kind of retired from writing. And that kind of hit me hard. I'm like, whoa, and I just felt bad to hear that. Like, Gail retiring, but when she announced she was going to be on X-Men, I was so happy for her. I'm looking forward. M.V.K, he's always going to bring it, and I'm Eve L. Ewan, I'm actually looking forward to too, because I enjoyed her Black Panther, her Ironheart. She's done a lot. I enjoy her stuff. I'm looking forward to all that stuff. I'm an X-Men fan for life. The X-Men are my favorite team in comics. They're number one. Nobody comes before them. So, of course, I'm just saying. And which one are you going to add to your poll? I'm going to try to read them all. I'm going to read them all. I'll try to read all of them. I'll try to read at least 5 issues for each. I'll read the first story arc for each, and if I feel like, okay, this is not, I'll drop it. And maybe I'll just pick them up and trade after a while. Like, who knows? So thank you for that. Kira Shian asks me, what are some X-Men titles you recommend for X-Men readers? X-Men titles that I recommend for outside of like the core books, there was a book. If you're a Bishop fan, I'll give you one. There was a book, I think late 2000s, late 2000s. It was called District X. This was a section in Manhattan that was just nothing but mutants. I'm a New Yorker, so there are different sections of Manhattan. There's Lower East Side, Upper East Side, Little Italy, Hell's Kitchen is real. It's only 2 blocks, but yeah, the theater district, all that stuff. There was a section that was just dedicated to mutants. Mutant businesses, mutant this. Everybody there was a mutant. Bishop was the resident detective there. And because Bishop was a cop, as well. So he was a resident detective. And he looked like Shaft. He wore all black and things like. It was great. And I loved it. It was only 14 issues, but it was great. It was a great book dedicated to Bishop. If you want to check it out, if you can find it, I recommend that. What was your complete opinion on how Iceman was done under Fox? He didn't feel, no offense to the actor, but he didn't feel anything like my man Bobby. Not at all. Bobby is the goofball. Bobby is this. But he is the goofball of the team. And he didn't feel anything like himself. I did not like that. Not at all. Yes, was it cool to see him ice up for the first time? Yes, that was cool. But did it give me a hard-on? Or a nerdgasm? Yes, it did. I don't know why I said that, but yes, it did. But overall, he was not. A lot of the characters under Fox didn't feel like themselves. I didn't like that. And Tim Dragon asks me the last questions. Wolverine has a couple of children. Who's your favorite? It's probably Lorna. It's Laura. She is my favorite. She is my favorite. Um, you know, and then of course he has a child on Earth 982, which is the same Earth that Mayday Parker comes from. Her name is Wild Child, and that is Wolverine's daughter with Elektra. Wolverine and Elektra got busy and had a child. So yeah. Um, Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch have a child, right? Yes, they do. Nightcrawler does have a child with Wanda. She's another one from an alternate world. Her name is Nocturne. She's cool. Like, she's different than her. She looks like her dad, but she can do things that, like, she can jump into you and, like, basically possess you. It's really cool. It's kind of scary too, but she met her real father, her father in the 616 universe. It was cool. Uh, Nightcrawler's had a couple of kids. There's a couple of books where you see that Kurt had some kids. Uh, it's not just TJ because that was her name. There was more. Do you wish Colossus and Kitty married? Yes, I do. Um, that's the last question. Yes, I do. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Yes, I wish they had went through with that and not skip it, or have her leave him at the altar or say no. The one thing I will say is at least Gambit proposed to Rogue. She said yes. They got married right there. Great, but I hated that Kitty didn't stay with Colossus. Then she went with you know went with Star Lord Peter Quill, and I was like, oh, I don't care about that. I really didn't care about that. She should have stayed with Peter. That's who she should have stayed with. And I'm not saying, oh, because she's a mutant, she should have stayed with a mutant. No, they were such a good couple. They practically grew up together, and it sucked. Like they were like this. She loved Peter's artistic side. Yeah, people don't know this. Colossus can paint. He's an artist. And she loved that about him. She always encouraged that, and they blew it. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry. Well, that is all the questions. Little light today, but those are all the questions. Like I said before, guys, I do these spotlight Q&As every month on my Patreon, but it's for every member, free members, paid members. It's free for everybody. That's my way. There'll be more free stuff coming to my Patreon. So if you are a free member of Patreon, you're not under one of the tiers, that's fine. You can do that, no problem. But yes, I had a lot of fun with this, guys. You guys take care. Who will be the next spotlight? I don't know. We'll see. I'll get a feeling by almost the end of the month who I'm gonna do next. What's the spotlight gonna be on for a character? You don't know. It could be anybody. It's not just comic characters. It could be anime. It could be this video game character. It don't matter. But it is on a specific character or team. Outside of that, you guys take care. Deuces.